synovial fluid, the air pockets in the joints, right? That's what it is.
Yes. And we are live.
Yeah.
What's up? I'm gonna give people a couple of minutes to file in here. This is an impromptu podcast.
Yeah.
Not my usual day, not my usual time. So, Kelvin, shout out to you already in the comments. Let's go. Let's go indeed. So I've pretty much spent the day here with Law and with Ray Ray, who is busy right now here at Hello Studios in downtown Dallas. So it's been an interesting day. And before I get out of here, I just felt like I had to have a conversation with the one and only Law Nation Sports because we covered so much, yet almost not enough today.
Yeah.
So,
so any news that's broken, we would not be able to break it because we've been
busy.
in the capacity of being busy. But I would tell you guys, not as busy as the Dallas Cowboys, getting ready for the second preseason game. The levels of reservations that we may have, we going to look to see if they can be solidified this weekend.
JV, hey, it's so good to see you.
Let's
You
go.
finally made it live.
Yeah.
But yes, I really am excited about what we're seeing from the Cowboys. What we saw from them last weekend, what we're going to see this weekend. Now, one thing that I did see in my notifications while I was setting this up was apparently Trayvon Diggs did a full practice today.
Wow.
And he almost picked off Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, I know it's Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay. But how do we feel? Like, I know we're excited, but like when you think about Trayvon Diggs coming back to practice, like what are you hoping to see? Like, what does that, like when you're like, I'm going to go look at the headlines, what are some of the things that you're hoping to hear in some of these reports?
Well, collectively, I still don't want to see Trayvon Diggs in September. I think that you slowly integrate him into the system and the philosophy.
Okay, right.
You fool around and put Trayvon Diggs in October, but neither here nor there. I got my.
I'm just saying what's up. I'm gonna get this out of here, yo.
Yeah,
What's up,
yeah. We live like 95, but I did know that we did pick up Andre Booth. I would like to see him out there. Let me know how you feel of him being picked up now by the Dallas Cowboys and Keenan Carson's. Of course, he had a great preseason one game. What's your overall thoughts of the secondary?
The secondary in general, I'm very excited. Like, I think when you see a preseason game like that and you know your ones aren't even out there, right? And you still see how they perform.
Correct.
It's so exciting. I think when Zimmer was hired, there was a lot of talk about what would change and who was or wasn't the right body type or who would or wouldn't fit his scheme. Right. And of course, people felt like the linebacker core would be better, right? But it's like, honestly, there wasn't a lot of room for it to necessarily get worse. Not to knock them, but there was a lot of room for improvement, right? So for them to come out and show us things that we can actually be excited about, I like that definitely made me feel good about our defense. Now, as far as Booth particularly, that's a tough one because his first season in the league, he had that injury that kept him off the field for like he didn't get a lot of experience. His second season, he played 11% of the snaps. So it's like we've seen a little bit of him, but not enough to really know what he can do. At the same time, people can say the same about Nahshon Wright. You know, if you're not watching practices and training camp, you really might not know a lot about what to expect from Nahshon Wright. So I think that trade in particular was just two teams like, okay, we know this person is not necessarily a good fit. Let's at least try. Nahshon Wright was on the last year of his contract. And so I think, the Cowboys were like, we've got to make some kind of decision regarding this guy, or we could just like bring in somebody else and give ourselves another season to make that decision. So I'm not really excited about Booth, but I'm also not like, I need to see him do something. I need to see how he fits. Yes.
Okay, so in return, it's like getting something back in return. It's just like, okay, let's not just throw out the baby with the bathwater with Nahshon Wright, but let's get something back.
Yeah, it's like when somebody gives you a gift and you go to the store to see if you can return it, and they're like, no, but you can exchange it. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll pick something,
Pick something about the mix. So hopefully with a new system and philosophy, Al Harris can figure out things to work for good for Booth, and hopefully that will be a situation. But 9 times out of 10, we did a podcast earlier, and we talked about the turnovers that this particular defense was able to generate. And it was more than 4, although, only 4 counted. So we can look at it collectively as it relates to my guy, Money Johnson. I think that's how you say his name. Or E. Johnson. I know that's the number 39 for your mind. Number 39, he picked off, of course, it was taken away due to penalties. And Wanye, he picked off a guy. Well, he hit him in the hands and he kind of dropped it.
So what that shows to me is that it tells that our defensive backs getting hands on balls and they are able to at least create the same thing that we thought that will be missing from last season, and that's turnovers from our secondary.
They're disruptive. They're disruptive. Whether even if they drop a ball or they get a penalty, at the end of the day, they seem to have the knowledge to disrupt an opposing offense. Now, one person that we didn't talk about earlier that I gotta mention, I am such a fangirl for Julius Wood right now.
Okay.
Now, I know we haven't seen a lot from him. And so I'm admitting that this is early, and I might change my mind later. But I was just really excited about what I saw from him. Like, he seems to have such good vision to where he always knows what to do strategically. Sometimes you see a player in his position, and it seems like they're only focused on getting the tackle. But he's been really good at whether it's covering a route or like helping with run protection or not run protection, but run defense and filling in. Like, he just seems to always know where to be and what to do at the right time, whether it's him playing the starting role on the defense or supporting others in a way that basically makes the entire front stronger. So I just really like what I've seen from him as far as the way it seems like he sees the offense and responds based on what he's saying. So I'm hoping to see more from him.
No doubt. There's an old saying that rising tides raise all ships, right? So basically, I hope I said that right, by the way. But if I did, you guys can utilize that and prepare it with what Woods is able to do. Because that particular room is a loaded, jam-packed, shoulder-to-shoulder type of room. And with Woods, with his capability of doing that, I'm quite sure that these guys can't afford to get hurt. Like Izzy, as well as my guy, Johnson, and whoever else, D-Berry. None of those boys can afford to get hurt because it will be a situation that Woods will make this team. And he's been
100%.
playing 100% too. He's been playing great like that.
Yeah, he's definitely making a name for himself. Yeah. So as the preseason goes on, we're going to see a lot more from him. Let's look at some of these comments. Yeah. JV said, I'm a huge fan of Donovan Wilson, but Julius Woods. I'm guessing that's a good thing. He said Julius is an awesome name. I agree. I think it's awesome. Sadiqa Charles said Juju is big game only. What?
That's big game James. Big game James.
I thought that was a question about a player. I'm like, I'm making this. Hi, Sadiqa. Nice to see you. I have no idea what that comment is about, but good to see you. Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, Law. Based on the conversations that we've had today, because we've had several conversations about the Dallas Cowboys, is there anything that this morning you woke up believing about the team or an opinion that you had that now at this point in the day has changed?
None, as far as this point of the day has changed. I still think that this team is a playoff kind of caliber team. I think that we just have to solidify small things because of the unknown, like the edge rushers. Can we really get to the quarterback, defensive tackle? Do we have enough size and girth to be able to plug up those A gaps and B gaps? Those are our only reservations, but outside of that, I think we're okay.
I agree. Mm-hmm. And as far as getting home, like, I think it'll happen. Like, we have to remember, like, our ones weren't out there.
True.
But I think what we did see is we saw a lot of guys with a good enough foundation to complement the ones. Right. And I think we might even see some adjustments that lend themselves to that goal, if it is a goal. Right. It might not be as much of a concern as it has been in the past, because they had some moments where they were pretty solid at setting the edge, right? And so depending on what the goal is, that may be enough disruption for the defense to do what it is that they feel like they need to do, right?
Yeah.
But I think there were a couple of people, and honestly, even before this preseason game, I've heard people say things like Chauncey Golston is better on the edge, or even thinking that Fehoko, even with the limited amount of play that we've seen from him, saying like, oh, okay, we think he'd be better on the edge.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see, I think, how those players are used moving forward, how their roles evolve, or even how they evolve in the execution of their position.
Yeah, to go all the way back to what you said, ultimately, defense win championships. And this second game heading into the second preseason game, it's all about the adjustments. It's all about Mike Zim being able to get these guys in right fits and right pursuits to the ball. So hopefully we can see that transition of, okay, number one, are we setting the tone on the edge better?
Number two, can we fill gaps? Can we solidify that particular role? Those are things that we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll find out against the Raiders this particular weekend. Yeah, you're right.
Yes, the game against the Raiders is going to be so interesting, especially since now we know that the Raiders are going to use that as a quarterback battle to figure out who's going to be their starter. So we're probably going to see a lot of different looks from them on their offense, and it's going to be a much higher stakes game for them at least. And I'm thinking that with two quarterbacks who are both trying to play their best and bring a lot to the table to show what they're capable of, I feel like the way that they play the game is going to impact our defense because they're like, I feel like once they feel another offense playing their best, they're gonna be like, all right, well, we gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go on.
So that side of the ball, I think we can definitely expect to see a lot from the Cowboys and see a lot more in terms of what these guys are capable of. Now our offense, on the other hand.
Come on, talk about Trey. Talk about Trigger Trey. What's your thoughts on Trigger Trey? Because that's what everybody's waiting for. That's what people want to know about Trigger Trey in the run game. Because pretty much with the wide receiver, we know that Cooks is going to be there week one.
Yes.
And quite sure, I don't think with this particular mindset that C. Dangerous Lamb is going to leave $1 million because he's going to get fined $1 million.
Right, but it's a rookie contract. Is it just the training camp fines that can be reimbursed, or can the game checks be reimbursed?
I heard that them game checks hit different, and they pay out on every Tuesday. So I don't know where my guy C. Dangerous Lamb is from, but I don't think that he's coming from generational wealth. And I'm quite sure that $1 million hit, he's going to be like, I think that the Jones will win on that. 9 times out of 10, normally they fold due to historical data. They folded against Zeke. They voted against other players.
Yes.
So the Joneses tend to fold, but we are going to see week one. I'm thinking
it's a question. Does CeeDee Lamb need $1 million more than the offense needs CeeDee Lamb? That's a question.
They're gonna need CD though.
According to Brian Broaddus, they decided on a number, and it's the structure that they're having trouble with.
Okay.
And I don't think it's when it comes to structure, I don't think it's just a preference thing. You listen to Jerry Jones talk about the salary cap and talk about some of the issues that they've had with kicking the can down the road, and it does kind of suggest that their hands are literally tied. When you look at the contracts that are set to run out at the end of this year and at the end of next year, it does kind of make you think that, okay, this might be about more than what the Joneses are willing to do. And it might be that structuring some of these contracts in a certain way might cause them to take more of a hit to the salary cap than they literally feel like they can tolerate, especially if, like Stephen Jones said, they don't want to do a rebuild or start over with any particular unit. So it could end up being a really tricky situation where no matter how long CeeDee Lamb holds out, the Joneses are like, look, we just can't. And they're just gonna have to compromise,
All right. 3 things that I need for you guys to do before we go any further. Get to like, subscribe, and then share. If you do those 3 things, it does something magical to BLS. It does something magical to Law Nation Sports. So like, subscribe, and share. Now let's get it going.
I always forget to do that. Thank you so much.
Had to do that right quick.
Now, when it comes to the on-field aspect of our offense, right? A lot of people said that the wide receivers that were on the field didn't get the looks they could have gotten because Trey Lance wasn't really doing what they needed him to do in terms of passing. Now, at the same time, Trey Lance needs more reps. So how can we balance this need for better looks from the receiver, which would have to come along with Cooper Rush spending more time on the field, with the need for Trey Lance to get more reps? Like what can the offense really do there? What is the answer?
And that's a great point to bring up because my whole argument on my previous podcast was about this right here. I get it. Trey Lance is a nice quarterback, and we compared him to the IG model, who can't fix breakfast, right? It's like it looks good. It looks good on paper, but can you fix me an omelet? Where that ham sandwich at? Can you give me some Salisbury steak smothered on some rice and stuff, over a bed of rice? Can you give me something that I can take home with me? And I'm not saying that collectively, and this is no shade upon our backup quarterback, because we've been talking too much about our 3rd string and 2nd string quarterback. And the teams that's ahead of us, they're not focusing in on their backups. They're focusing in on their team, who can be a linebacker, who can be a running back, who can be a safety, who can be something that can help us through the course of the season, not someone who can help us if your main guy goes down, right? It's like equivalent, and I'm using these analogies so they can hit home. It's like equivalent if you buying a car, right? And you're sitting there not thinking about the car oil change and the transmission, you're thinking about what's the spare tire, you know, what kind of grade of tire is the spare tire a run flat? Can it be able to put onto the car and help us out in these tough times? Bull sugar. I need to know what do we have now. So that's why it's imperative and important for us to really do the research on these particular wide receivers, like the T. Billies of the world, right? Like if can Cropper really catch a ball in traffic? Like if Flournoy, granted, I gave him a pass because the week before he was out of the situation because he had a banged up knee. So they threw him out there. I want to know for sure who can be the guy that can help us get over the hump. And we shouldn't have never laid the pillows down and said, Jalen Tolbert, we like you. We want you to lay down on the soft pillows. No, he haven't earned his way yet. So he need to be out there because week one, we going up against Denzel Ward, we going up against Emerson, we going up against Greg Newsom, Grant Dilpet, and my guy Warren Thornhill. So we're not going up against Chop Liver. We going up against true DBs who like to get all into the face, right? And like to redirect and move you out the way. So we got to make sure that our boys are able to handle those moments, and we can't play around with our food week one.
I agree. Considering everything that you just said, I do think it's more important for us to get the best looks possible from the receivers instead of worrying about developing Trey Lance. I want Trey Lance to get the development that he needs so bad.
Right.
Because I feel like the trajectory of his career since he entered the NFL is so unfair to him. He had expectations placed on him based on where other people decided to draft him, despite having the information that everybody is using now to justify his limited performance. Oh, well, he hasn't had a lot of snaps. Oh, well, he's definitely a running quarterback. Well, we knew that before he got drafted. You know, and he still got drafted to a team that does not have, or that did not have a good space for him. And then he got traded to a team that also is not a good fit for him. And I'm just like, what are people doing? So it's not fair to him, but it is a situation that he unfortunately has to deal with. Preseason is only 3 games.
3 games.
We got to see what these receivers look like.
Right.
And give him some snaps by all means. But I think if we want to see like who's going to be on the field along with Cooks and ideally CeeDee Lamb, I'm with you. We need Cooper Rush out there helping these guys get the looks that they deserve so we can have a better idea of what to expect from them.
Yeah. And the ideology is that we play it safe. Right. I seen the guy that won the Super Bowl that lift up that Lombardi trophy by the name of Pat Mahomes playing week one. Now, I'm not saying that Dak Prescott is not of the kind of caliber of level of Pat Mahomes, but what I'm saying is if we are seeing this is the results of a Super Bowl, then damn it, we need to be able to replicate that. We need to be able to get out of our feelings and say, hey, this is the pathway. This is the solution. This is 2 + 2 = 4 over there, right? So we need to do the same thing. And there's nothing wrong with looking at someone else's paper and saying, okay, I'm going to replicate that because that is the winning way. And the Cowboys been doing it their way, and it's been since 1995 before the facial hair. Before we had the chance to win anything, it's been since that. So I think that the Jones family need to replicate. It's a copycat league, and we need to do just that. And I'm not beating up what we got on our team, but I'm just trying to do the winning things, baby. Come on with it.
JB said, like I have said multiple times, we need to listen to you guys, or else we'll be the individual with the typing fingers in chat. And Brian Bradford said, nope, disagree. What do you disagree with, Brian?
Come on with it, Brian. This is the interactive show with BLS. Come on with it.
Tell us in the chat. We only have a few minutes left. We're going to get out of here. So how are you feeling about the O-line? I know a lot of people wanted Tyler Guyton in that left tackle spot anyway, and now it looks like it's going to happen. It's no longer up to Chuma Edoga. The football gods have decided. So how are you feeling about that?
I think that the baby is thrown into the deep end of the water. It's sink or swim, and that baby is swimming. Tyler Guyton, I think that Awesome Richards need to play left tackle as well. I didn't like him much at guard. I think that we need to elevate Nate Thomas to that guard spot because we drafted him for a reason, right? So I do like that, and he needs to be developing behind Tyler Smith And I love the ideology that now that we got Cooper Beebe in the mix, because here's the other thing that I brought up to this particular conversational pool is that Cooper Beebe, he wedged between Tyler Smith as well as Zach Martin. I think that that's going to be a good growth pattern for him to add into this. Instead of thinking and wondering in November and December, can he do that role? We would know and he would develop to that spot. So when we get to that postseason, we'll be able to sprinkle some of that mama's cooking in there.
And
Yeah.
Judon was
Come on
traded
with
to
it.
the Falcons.
He got rid of. Oh my goodness! So they gave him some money
Traded for who?
for who? What? Because he was only offering like
I can't even
6.9
look it
left.
up because I'm using my phone to do this.
I wanted Judon so bad here, but see, teams do what they want to do, and we have more cap space than the Falcons, believe it or not. But go ahead.
I'm really curious about how that worked out. I'll definitely be looking for it.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited about Tyler Guyton getting the spot.
Facts.
I think both he and BB need some more reps. They need a little bit more practice, but I also think based on what we saw from them like pre-draft and what we're seeing from them now during training camp and preseason, we can tell that they are quick learners. We can tell that they have a good work ethic. So even though I'm admitting right now that they need more reps, I'm not really worried about them getting what they need in terms of reps and in terms of experience. Especially Cooper Beebe. He has got something in him, and Guyton has it too.
Yeah.
That mental side that you cannot train, that you cannot coach. Just that desire to beat the guy across from them. You can't. Well, you can teach the elements of that, but it's if a person is not naturally that way. And I say this as a coach, as a trainer, it is so hard to put that in a person when it's not already there. Sometimes the most you can hope for is to take a person that maybe they have it and they've been afraid to bring it out and encourage them to bring it out. But it's like if they don't have it, it's so hard to put that in there. And BB already has it. All he needs is a little bit of technical experience in terms of the snapping and transitioning from snapping to blocking. And we actually saw him do that pretty well. Once he gets to the point where he's doing that even better or more often, he's gonna be fine. I have no real worries about either of them. Not saying that they'll always be perfect. I'm just saying compared to what the other options are, compared to what we've seen in the past, I don't anticipate them being worse than that. I see them as great assets to the offensive line.
No doubt. So youth is the way with this particular spot of it. Reason being is the front five, all guys.
Patriots got a third round pick in return.
A third round. I mean, come on, Cowboy Nation. But I know it's 31. It's longer than 2. But I'm trying to win now. I'm not trying to look at 2025, right? 2026. But I would say this, though, with our offensive line, all 5 guys must sing from the same hymn. They got to be on the same page. And being on the same page week 2 of the preseason game would be a great thing for us. And then you use that energy and you propel that energy to week 1 and 2 and beyond. So that's why I like for these guys to be there. I don't want to play musical chairs with our offensive line for your mind, right? So I just feel that the Cowboys are doing the right move of giving Tyler Guyton more playing time, right? And like you said, we don't wish injury upon no one, but the football god said, wake up, Chuma E. Doga, he's up out of there. And now we get a chance to see Tyler Smith get majority of those reps, Austin Richards get majority of those reps, and then et cetera. Everything spills its way down, and then Cooper Beebe. I get it. My guy Brock Hoffman was a real good guy upholding that spot, but it belongs to Cooper, and let's roll into the 2024 season with our mindset, with everybody being on the same page.
Yeah, I want somebody who feels like protecting Dak Prescott is a lifestyle. I see that in BB. So Ryan answered our question. He said Tolbert doesn't need to be out there if Trey Lance is out there as the QB. Okay,
you ain't gonna get it in.
But that's the point that we were saying. We're like, we need Cooper Rush out there a little bit more. Sorry, don't apologize. And Dak doesn't need to be out there in preseason games. Okay, agreed.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Are
But the only thing is, hell yeah,
we're live.
Yeah, we live like 95. He meant triggers, man. He did triggers, man. Just in case anybody want to take a strike to that. Yeah. He said, "What y'all heroes are doing?" But hey, here's what I'm gonna say before we get on up out of here, ladies and gentlemen, is that I'm old enough to remember Tom Brady, who's a 7-time Super Bowl champ, playing preseasons. Right? I'm old enough to remember. Also, just this last preseason game that Patrick Mahomes playing preseason games. So let me know how many Super Bowls did Dak Prescott win or what have you? How many?
Are we doing that?
We doing that because I'm doing this. I'm what my guy said, high peak. Man, I'm done with the 90s, y'all. I need for my guys to be out there. I don't want to use the Browns as a preseason game. I need for my starters to be out there. And if you guys think I'm lying, scared money makes what?
It don't make money.
Yeah, so you got to put the boys out there. And if he twists a knee or a sprain or ankle, that's why you're paying $5.5 million to Trey Lance.
No,
that's why you're paying
no.
2.5. You're like, wait a minute. I'm just watering down the whole argument. But what I'm saying is true. You got to be able to. Come on. Oh, different team. Okay, different ownership. I believe what y'all said. I believe
it's just a different
But to my defense, who are the top 5 quarterbacks in the National Football League?
Oh, you're asking me to rank people.
No. Just throw out some names.
I'm like, Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. Dak is in the top 5. I'm not saying he's number 2.
Excluding Dak Prescott.
Okay, so Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Do we want to go Josh Allen? I don't know. I don't think about
it. And you will have to use a Wikipedia, Google, and all of them to find out who the backup quarterback and damn for sure who the third string quarterback. But everybody knows, CJ and them. Well, we just spend so much time on Trey Lance versus Cooper Kupp. Rush and all of those boys. We just spent too much time, and that $5.5 million that we spending on Trey Lance. The Eagles last year spent 5.5 on DeAndre Swift. Wouldn't DeAndre Swift look good in the Cowboys uniform?
Of course he would.
Yeah, but we spending that on a backup that don't even get a chance to even touch the ball.
The decision continues to puzzle.
Yeah,
not only because he needs so much more development that he doesn't have room to get here, but also because he doesn't. Like, if you take what his raw skill set is, it doesn't fit in this offense. So even if you did want to put him in there, you would have to change so many things about your game plan.
Yeah,
it just wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be as good of a transition as going from Dak Prescott to Cooper Rush, who seems to play the same game as Dak Prescott, but with a little bit less seasoning,
Yeah, unseasoned stuff. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say everything, but it is what it is. So what my overall goal is with this whole conversation of pool is what I tried to bring up on the previous podcast when I was on the final word, is that we are focusing too much on things that can't bring us anything that's going to help us. Meaning that if we are focusing too much on the spare tire, and we leave out the transmission, we leave out changing the transmission oil or the damn motor. We are too focusing in on things that don't give us energy now. And the things that give us energy now, wide receivers, running back gang, who's our defensive tackle, what can help us out for the now, not for 2026 and 2027. I need to win now. Come on with it.
I get that. I think they're more focused on the now than we give them credit for it, because sometimes they don't make the moves that we want to see them make. But I think in terms of how they're handling the offseason, I think they're finding the best balance between doing what they need to do to prepare, but also seeing what they need to see from people they either haven't seen yet or haven't seen enough of.
Right.
So, that's why Dak has been around for a long time, and honestly, he gets better every year. So I'm okay with him not being in a preseason game. I don't have questions about Dak Prescott that make me say I need to see him in a preseason game. And same thing about Cooper Rush. I really don't have questions about him either. The only reason I want to see him out there is for the sake of wide receivers I do have questions about. So that's that whole situation. But anyway, we're not going to stick around too much longer, guys. I just borrowed Lau for a few minutes. We've been here for a long time, so it's the end of the day, and we do need to get out of here. So that being said, I know they had a joint practice with the Rams today. I know we're looking forward to seeing those clips. Right. So I know Lau's going to talk about it. He's been talking all day about how he owes y'all a video. So he's definitely going to talk about it when he sees those clips. I'll talk about it when I get another break from work, because I still have a full-time job, and I can't do this every day yet. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what we want to see in the next preseason game. So both of us have lots of content coming your way. The season is ramping up, and so are we. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Impromptu at a different day and a different time for me. So thanks for showing up, JV. Good to see you. This has been another special episode of Bitches Love Sports. I'm Jazz Monet. I'm here with
Law Nation Sports.
And we're here at Hello Studios, provided by Ray Ray's podcast. Ray, you want to say something?
Ray, you love bitches, man. Come on. Come on, man.
I have heard every bitches love sports joke a person could possibly make today, guys. I'm so done.
If there are any bitches that love Ray, you can hit me up. And for all the bitches that love Ray, if you like sports and you like Ray too, not hit me up. Instagram Ray_podcast on Instagram, or hit my personal one, RAYBANDZ972. That's a personal one, holler at me, young fly shit. I'm joking. Ray's podcast on YouTube. Subscribe. Make sure y'all fuck with her. I fuck with Jazz. She cool people. Make sure y'all keep rocking with her, support Law. Tune into these crosstalk episodes. You got one dropping tomorrow. Make sure you tune into that. It's dope. We're talking about preseason game 1. So things we're looking for with this offensive line, defense. Make sure y'all tune into that. All right.
Yeah, there's an episode dropping with the 3 of us and Ben Larimore from PFF. Yeah. So y'all make sure you're looking at Ray's platform so you don't miss it. It is going to be it's a good one. Y'all want to catch it.
You will enjoy.
All right. On that note, thanks for tuning in. Keep those notifications on so you see me next time. I'm Jazz Monet and I'm out.
You remember. Come on with it.